Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to Gran Turismo World Series. We're doing the Nations Cup today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Nations Cup in this one. As you can see there, we are starting in P2 for this race. So just keep an eye out, and keep an eye out for the Spaniard who's starting in P4 here. Suzuka. You want to keep your eye on him. But yeah, I just wanted to use this video to talk a little bit about Gran Turismo, the Nations Cup, and why I thought it's a bit of a mess this time round. So the first thing I wanted to mention is the date. Why are they putting the first round of the Nations Cup live on a New Year's Eve? So we're going live on we're racing on the 31st of December. Why not just put it on the Sunday maybe? I think that would have been a lot better, because there was a lack of quality in the lobbies, and that's going to be another point of mine I'm going to make later. The quality of the lobbies, because the good players, they just weren't playing. So the first thing, I think a different day would have been perfect. Now just keep your eye on second place here. He's 0.5 seconds behind, and he's going to ram us basically to get the lead, launching it from downtown. And this is basically where my race ended, because combination of me being angry and trying to overdrive the car, and of course the dirty air, which I don't really think you should be getting dirty air in a Honda Civic. I think they should be able to race a lot closer than they are. But we all know dirty air is a big problem on GT7. So as we fast forward to the end of the race, the last lap, he made a mistake and I came to an easy victory in the end. Nothing else really happened in that race, so we are going to move on. But pretty good win in my first race. Not too bad at all. As you can see there, another thing I wasn't really happy with is the ratings. The grouping together of ratings, basically. As you can see there is all sorts of different ratings, and it gets even worse in the next race. So, jumping into race 2 here, getting ready for the start, of course, the penalty starts. Yes, make sure we got a good launch, starting in second in this one. Now, the guy that you want to keep your eye out in this race, because there is a lot of dirty driving over the weekend, is the Portuguese, Mr. No Name there. I'm going to see why very, very soon, as he shoves his way up the inside of the Frenchman, in the rear view mirror there. He's going to be all over our back. So I was keeping an eye on him, making sure he doesn't get too close, as we're trying to keep with the Brit in first place here, through the S-bends on the first lap. Also, I don't really understand why anyone thought this was a good combination to have for the Nations Cup. I mean, in the Honda Civics, you have to make one pit stop. Everyone's on the Sport Soft, and is around Suzuka. So whoever thought that was a winning combination needs to be fired, as the Portuguese there sending it from half a second behind. So I wasn't really too happy with that one. Making sure that we hold on to third place here. There's not going to be any space on the outside for the Frenchman to take advantage. Make sure we get it nice and tidy through Spoon. A little bit of a mistake, we also make a bit of a mistake. As long as we park it on the exit, there's nowhere for him to go. So in the slipstream here of the Portuguese. Of course, the dirty air does make a huge difference around 130R. As you're just about to see that right now. Taking our normal racing line, normal speed, and we go massively off circuit there. So we've got dirty tyres, but I decide I would really like that position back. So we're going to take it. We're also going to park it on the exit, make sure it doesn't get back past. And that is job complete. So we just got to make sure that we don't do anything stupid into turn 1. And then we can focus on trying to close that gap to the Brit up ahead. However, we do make a mistake into turn 1. Loads of people off, loads of people going past us, as we get punted by the Portuguese again there. She's going to actually help us, holding on to the back of P3. The South African there of Born Dog. Let's see what we can do through these S-bends. Trying to hold with them, but it's really difficult, especially since my back bumper is broken. So we have a lack of aero for the back there. But we are going to fast forward here to lap 3. Start of lap 3, we are still behind the two battling up ahead. We pulled a bit of a gap between for the Portuguese behind us. So we're just watching this battle up ahead right now. As you see, they're going side by side through the S-bends, and that is a casualty. Or they're both casualties actually. We're going to take 2 freebies. We're going to move on up, and now we can just completely focus on closing that gap to the Brit in front. Just make sure we drive nice and smooth. Don't make any big glaring errors, and we should be on for a P2. However, we just clipped the curb there, and we're going to go off into the sand. Off into barrier. Nice to meet you, how do you do? Not my best rejoin in the world, but I knew we was ghosted, so we're gonna carry on. I really didn't want to lose this position here. However, I get distracted by the 2 cars off up in front. Or was it just one? I think it might have just been one. Just the Italian there. So we do end up losing that position, but we did get a freebie from the Italian. So it's all good. Staying here in P10. Make sure we get it nice and tidy through Spoon. Someone else is off. It's going to make them slow. But now we are going to fast forward here to lap 4. And we're catching up with a big group of cars here. 6 cars all up in front, ready for the taking. You see people swerving all over the track. This really does demonstrate why this combination is so terrible. As you can see, 2 cars there ghosted off into the sand. We're going to claim 2 positions. We're going to go up into P8. I can't really emphasize how bad this combination was. As you see, the 2 drivers there just pushing each other off the track. We're going to gain another 2 positions. That's going to put us up into P6. So we'll take it. We're going to come in for our pits this lap. As we fast forward here to the end of lap 5, the German in front had a 3-second penalty for missing the pit entry. We're going to pick up a penalty here for cutting 130R. Bit harsh, but I understand. So you see 2 people there in for their pits, or 3 people actually in for their pits. So that's another 3 positions for us. I'll take it. Going to come out here in P6, P5, because we're going to overtake German there. So now we just need to build a gap so that we don't get overtaken by the German during our penalty. And as we fast forward to the end of the race, coming through 130R for the last time, we're going to be in P5. Of course we do catch up, so we've got a little bit of dirt here, go off wide there. And we almost make it work here through the chicane. Got the run. However, I did see that he's going to... he got the penalty anyway, but you can see there, just trying to block us there on the line. Not really very sportsmanship, but as you can see here, why have you got S sportsmanship rating racing someone with a C sportsmanship rating? And then you got a whole mix of A's and B's. I just think the whole thing's a mess. And I really think it is lack of players. So they're just putting everyone together. And that comes down to having the race on New Year's Eve. Not the best decision. But we move into race 3. This is the best race that I had during that Saturday. Starting in P9th. Of course, the grid start means turn 1 is a mess. Always going to be a mess as well at Suzuka. We'll see if we can make it work. We're trying for so many switchbacks as we get nudged out there onto the marbles and onto the grass here by our Spanish friend here. There was so much dirty driving during this Nations Cup. It is actually unbelievable. Which is why I wanted to make a video of not just one race, but a bunch of races, just to show you the level. As we see this Frenchman here coming out of nowhere for the lunge. Didn't make it stick, of course. Spanish making sure someone visits barrier. Another 2 players spinning out. Spanish blocking our run. We're gonna shove it up the inside. Thank you very much. Have a piece of your own medicine, sir. And now we're sitting pretty in P8. So out of all of that mess on lap 1, we only gained 1 position. Make that 2 positions, and then we're going to gain another couple here as we get bundled wide again by the Spanish. Really not racing very clean, that Spanish driver. So yeah, out of all of that chaos on lap 1, we made up 1 position. We're going to try and make it another position here. As we go up the inside of the Red Bull. Plenty of space on the outside there. So we both make it through safe and sound. We're going to come up behind, as you see. I really hate that when people swerve in the braking zone just to try and block you. It's not clean driving, and you're just asking to be murdered yourself. As you see people there drifting on the back straight here. Such a mess. I will never understand why PD went with this, why they thought this was a good idea. As you see the Portuguese there in the mix as well. But he hasn't forgotten us, of course, so he's just going to shove it right up the inside on one of these corners. I can feel it coming, and there it is. Shoves us out wide. We saw it coming, we stayed off the grass. So we're going to make it work as that guy there just gets bundled into the sand. That's going to give him a 4-second penalty. And we're going to go up the inside. Now I'm just watching my rearview mirror at this point. I know it's coming, I just don't know where. As you can see then, they decide to take somebody else out instead. So that's going to give us a pretty good gap behind. We can focus on Spaniard up ahead, who was actually racing clean. We actually found a couple of clean drivers, especially the Spaniard and the Russian up ahead. They were the two cleanest drivers I could find during the whole weekend. We're going to see what we can do here going into Spoon. Make sure it's nice and clean. We want a good exit up the hill. So coming onto the back straight into the start of lap 3, we've got the run, we've got the slipstream as well. I'm going to try and look up the inside here. It's actually a good defence. Close the door, he knew we were coming. So good, fair, clean defence there, which is always good to see. You love to see clean defending. If you defend clean, then we're always going to have a very good race. It's when you start blocking and swerving in the braking zone, and then you're inviting problems basically. And we're going to see what we can do here on the back of the Spaniards. You see the Portuguese are just rage quitting. But this is my last race. I decided that the result was good enough not to bother trying again basically. And of course it is New Year's Eve, so I do want to spend time with my family, you know, not play a video game. I still don't understand why they did it this way, but it is what it is. We're going to move on, and we're going to try and find a way past this couple. We're battling a little bit, but they seem to have spread out. That's another thing about this combination. You just see the spread. I mean, no one's pit yet, but you've got the leader out in front. You've got this group of 3, and then there's a gap of 6.8 seconds. That's a big gap. And then you see someone else there just trailing at the back there. The leader, I think it was. We're joining from the sand realm, and we know the Spaniard up ahead isn't the cleanest, so we're going to assume something went on there. And the Russian there actually deciding to pit on lap 3. Not the best decision in my opinion. I mean, the tyres don't really wear out that much, so you might as well wait until halfway through the race so you've got equal tyres on both sides. We tried it around the outside there, the Spaniard there. It was never going to work. That was my mistake, but we held on to it. We held on to the back of the Spaniard as well, which is the most important thing. We don't want to lose unnecessary time. Going through these S-bends here. See if we can get the run. Not quite. We just stick behind him, just put some pressure on. He knows we're there, and the pressure gets to him there as he goes wide and into the gravel. He does manage to recover, so he is still behind us. We did have that massive 6 second gap. So now we're up into P2. We have a 2.5 second gap to the guy behind. As we fast forward here to lap 5, coming out of the pits, we just managed to sneak in front of the Russian. So we've managed to get the overcut on the Russian. We just got to keep him behind for a couple more corners and we should be up to temperature. So we could just push on with those fresher rubber. The two in front do have to pit still, so the Italian in front was behind us. And I can't remember the gap to the Spaniard, but he was in front. So we're going to keep an eye on that gap. And we're going to try and pull away from this Russian here. As we fast forward to the start of lap 6, you see the gap to the Spaniards in front has come down slightly. It's not going to be enough though, I do not believe, since it's still around about 3 seconds. So 3 seconds in 2 laps is going to be a lot to ask. But we do have the Russian still behind us. We have the Frenchman who was the pole sitter, I believe, for this race. So he's going to be very quick. As long as we just keep it nice and smooth, keep it nice and calm, we should be able to run away with a second position. And indeed, as we come to the last corner of the last lap, you can see there the Frenchman did get behind us. But he was very wide there into 130R. We're going to round out, or we're going to go very deep actually into the final chicane, park it on the exit, no way past, and we are going to come home in a P2. So, not a bad result, but in the whole grand scheme of things, I think PD could have played the opening Nations Cup. Season 1, round 1, I think they could have played it a lot better. But that's going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying the content, and subscribe so you never miss a video. A thank you and goodbye.